Phil and Jerry. Don't worry, it's only an hour long, and most days it doesn't suck.
Good morning and hi there. My name is Al Dukes. I'm the co-host of the warm-up program. I normally do this with a fella named Jerry Recco. He is filling in for Gio. So CeeLo joins me on the warm-up program, as he has all week. Welcome, CeeLo.
I was going to say, this is the fourth day in a row we're doing this now.
Well, you never know when people tune in.
That's fair. That's fair.
Radio's one of those drop in, drop out, drop back in, drop back out sort of a situation.
Yes. You don't like to mess up people's routines, upset the apple cart. I understand that.
They're like, where is Jerry Recco? Did he quit? No.
Right.
Was he fired?
Is he sick?
No. He got COVID? Does he have the monkeypox? No, he does not.
Well, if he did, in fairness, he'd probably be doing the show from home then.
Correct.
In which case he, could have joined you.
That's true.
But that's the way it goes.
Unless he was really, sometimes you get the COVID or the monkeypox and knocks you out for a couple days.
Down for the count, yeah.
Down for the count, and you can't even do it from home. That's how ill you are.
Right. You need the rest.
What I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah.
You need fluids, rest, orange juice, vitamin C.
Getting up in the middle of the night, not conducive when you're not feeling well.
Correct.
Yeah.
It is not. I got to tell you, though, CeeLo, I was fired up for Mets-Yankees Part 2 last night.
Mm-hmm.
I got what I thought I was going to get.
Did you?
I did.
What was that?
A low-scoring Max Scherzer domination.
The Max Scherzer part, yes. You expected low scoring. You expected the Yankees to pitch well and hold the Mets to a small amount of runs. Domingo Germán.
Well, as many people here told me I predicted a 2-0 Mets win.
Which it was right on track until Gleyber Torres hit the home run.
He did. He ruined it.
Yeah. I was surprised this game ended up as close as it was from a Yankee perspective.
Is that right?
Yes. I did not expect that the Yankees would be able to scratch anything off of Scherzer, which they didn't.
Right.
But I also did not expect them to hold the Mets to 2 runs until the 9th inning.
It was, as Peter Schwartz just said in the update, high drama. It was so awesome when it was Judge versus Scherzer with 2 men aboard 2 different times.
Yeah.
Strike 3 both times. So
not the best night for Judge.
Great.
Not going to pick on him because he's had a great season, but this was definitely a night to forget as far as his at-bats against Max Scherzer went.
I think in that situation, obviously if you're a Met fan, you wanted to see that. If you're a Yankee fan, you wanted the home run. But I think if you
I would have taken a base hit.
I think if you were a baseball fan just checking in on this, you wanted either a strikeout there or a home run.
Right.
And nothing in between.
The, what do they call that?
You didn't want to pop up.
Something result. There's a phrase that they use now.
They wanted
I forget
result,
what it is.
Yes, so that was just awesome. And
you heard the buzz every time he came up in those spots.
Yeah.
You knew all of a sudden there was a feeling that you could hear through the TV broadcast from the crowd there at Citi Field.
Correct. What was it? First and second with 2 out in the 3rd inning was the first strikeout to end the inning. And then it happened again in the 7th inning, 1st and 3rd. And after that 7th inning one, when Scherzer went back to the dugout, man, he was slap high-fiving people.
Yeah.
He was fired up.
That was like Boomer knocking us around here in the studio, giving high fives, checking people into walls.
Yes.
You heard the pop of the high five coming through the television. Yeah.
I mean, I love this Max Scherzer.
Yeah,
he's old school. The anti-Jacob deGrom.
I knew you were going to say that.
He's fired up. He's into it.
Yeah, their mentalities, at least what you see outwardly from them, very different.
Yes. Very different.
Hey, that's what works for him.
It works for me, too, as a viewer.
I understand.
And as a Met fan.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that was tremendous.
Tremendous.
You got a Pete Alonso home run. I mean, it couldn't have gone better.
The walk-off, which you haven't mentioned yet. The Escobar double to lead off the 9th.
Yes. The walk-off.
Some more curious managing late in the game by Aaron Boone.
Which ones were you thinking of here?
Well, I mean, I had no issue with him using Clay Holmes in the 8th inning, considering where they were in the lineup, the old high-leverage spot lane, the high-leverage lane. But late in that inning, with Jeff McNeil up, Matt Blake, the pitching coach, went out to the mound. They ended up pitching to McNeil. They got him out. But then what happened was Escobar led off the 9th, and Boone brings in Wandy Peralta, who's a lefty. Escobar, much better this season as a right-handed batter, switch hitter. So he hits lefties much better than he does righties from the left-hand side. So not facing Escobar in the 8th and or not having Holmes start the 9th played right into Escobar's hands and the Mets' hands. And sure enough, bang, leadoff double, winning runs in scoring position. and then eventually Marte comes up and ends the game.
Right.
So from that standpoint, it's like I feel like Buck and the Mets seem to be one step ahead. Now, let me say this, because I know there were some folks that were slinging arrows at Boone on Twitter last night, and then you had the other side of the Yankee crowd saying, well, if Judge got one hit with runners in scoring position, or if the Yankees got any hits with runner, the offense didn't do its job. That's true. I'm not pinning the loss solely on Aaron Boone's shoulders, but by the same people that say, well, he can't go up and control what the hitters and the pitchers do on the field. Agreed. What he can control are his decisions from a managerial standpoint. And you get late in the game, close game, tie game. And I'm not going to say there was anything like extremely glaring here, but those little intricacies of the game and the managing of the game and the bullpen usage, the lineup usage. And I thought in this case, it played into the Mets' hands, and you give them credit for capitalizing on that situation because they got runner in scoring position in the last inning, and Starling Marte came through. The Yankees, just as they did in Game 1, had runners on base in a number of innings and an opportunity to cash in, and they didn't. And there's the difference in the game.
Right. Just in those two Judge situations we spoke about, had two men on both times,
right.
Two of those times.
Right. And the night before, they had runners on in almost every inning against Taijuan Walker after the first inning when they hit the back-to-back homers, and they didn't come through. It was an issue in Baltimore over the weekend as well. Not in Sunday's game, but in Saturday's game. I think they were 114 with runners in scoring position. And I'd have to check on their numbers in this series, but it was dreadful in that category again. But watch, they'll go get fat on the Royals now for the next 4 days.
Yes, they will. So
especially now that the Royals don't have Andrew Benintendi on their team anymore.
Yeah, the Yankees got him. What was that, in the middle of the night or just it
was, I would say, legitimately, it was about a half hour after the game ended. So it was like, Yankees pulled the trigger as soon as they lost that game to the Mets. I don't know if that was just a coincidence. So it was a George Steinbrenner move. They lost to the Mets. Get me Benintendi. And it just works out that they're coming to New York, so he doesn't have to take a side flight. They had a day game against the Angels yesterday at home. Now, I'm very curious to know, and I don't know that we'll get this answer. Like, do the Royals go to him yesterday and say, "Hey, listen, as you're packing for the flight, just be aware you might be not coming home with us."
Just be aware you don't need to bring your Royals uniform.
Right. Well, the team would handle that.
Would handle that part.
They were taking a road trip either way. Right? They're coming to New York to play the Yankees, so he's packing a bag regardless. But do they give him the heads up, hey, just be prepared, you might not be coming back to Kansas City after this.
More luggage.
Now, at some point, like when you get traded, you're allowed, I think, a certain amount of days to, settle your personal affairs or whatever, or go back to your apartment, what have you, house, whatever you've got, and pack your stuff up. But because of the timing of this, there's no doubt he was on the flight to New York. So I'm curious to see, does he just come in and play tonight? Is he in the starting lineup, or does he go back to Kansas City to gather his stuff and his belongings and then return?
I say you got to put him in the lineup tonight.
I think the Yankees would like to. I'm just curious. Like, I think from a players union standpoint, like they have that option.
Yeah, no, I think he'd want to be in the lineup tonight.
Especially since he was taking the road trip anyway. It's like he should have enough to get through a couple of days.
Right, and
then he could figure out the rest.
He's got his toothbrush and toothpaste, a nice pair of jeans, and a nice shirt if he's going out.
So tonight when he comes to the ballpark, or later today, instead of going into the visiting clubhouse, goes over to the home clubhouse, meets all his new teammates. They give him the pinstripes, see what number he selects. He was wearing 16 with the Royals, not available with the Yankees, of course.
Does he have a beard?
That's a good question. I feel like he has I'm not up on his current facial hair situation.
I hope he brought his razors.
Maybe he'll join Matt Carpenter and go with the mustache. Yeah.
Mustache.
So that's not working out great for Carpenter post All-Star break here. He had a rough series against the Mets.
He did. And your boy Aaron Judge, 0 for 5 last night. 3 strikes.
I think they said there was only one other pitcher, an individual pitcher this year that struck him out 3 times in the same game.
Is that
and that
right?
was Frankie Montas with the A's. So Scherzer got him 3 times. So, yeah, we haven't seen a lot of those from him this year, but Max definitely exposed him with off speed. Got him on the changeup, got him on the slider down and away, especially in that last at bat in the 7th. That was an ugly swing at a breaking ball out of the zone. And David Cohn was Boomer. I know Boomer was at the game. There was a lot of talking from David Cohn last night.
Yeah, I agree.
And he was just like, he showed him the slider that had a good amount of plate. The next one had less. Now this third one's probably going to be out of the strike zone. And sure enough, it was. Oh. Now he did lay off 1 in the 7th there with 2 strikes, but later in the at bat, Max got him on that slider down in the dirt, low and away.
Is there more pressure on the pitcher or the hitter in that situation? Both times. So let's say.
I mean, in the seventh, I would say on the hitter, considering the Yankees had nothing on the board at that point.
And Judge already had 2 strikeouts.
Right. Exactly. Third time up. Scherzer. I don't think Scherzer really feels a lot of pressure.
I don't either.
Or thrives on it.
He has no feelings.
He thrives. Some guys thrive on it, and he spoke about that a little bit after the game, just about the atmosphere and the environment of both fan bases being there and being loud and how that pumps you up. So some guys, respond well to it. Other people quiver in fear. He's obviously the former, not the latter.
And the Braves lost again, yeah? They lost to the Phillies?
Phillies took 2 out of 3 from Atlanta, yeah.
Nice. So the Mets off tonight, go to Miami tomorrow.
Yes. I think they traveled last night, honestly, because I saw the guys showing up to the ballpark with their suitcases and whatnot.
Party plane.
Get down there.
2-game sweep of the Yanks, party plane it down to Miami.
Lindor hopped on SportsCenter after the game, and he mentioned his wife and I think daughter were meeting them in Miami, and they were going to enjoy a nice day off down there in South Beach. Earlier in the year when they were out on the West Coast, they had he and I think it was Nito and someone else. They went to Disneyland on the off day. So
I recall.
See what they do in Miami.
In Miami?
Today. Yeah.
Got to celebrate.
Yeah.
Beat the Yankees 2 games.
Sure.
Shut them right down.
Scherzer with the win on his birthday.
Yes.
Wandy Peralta takes the loss on his birthday.
See, sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't.
That's
Wandy
right.
Peralta, sit down.
Yeah.
Now, Max Scherzer used PitchCom yesterday.
Yes.
For the first time.
Tomas Nito urged him to use it because they had the cross-up last Friday where Nito got drilled in the wrist.
Right.
So, Max, please, I'm begging you.
Use the
thing. PitchCom.
So they were using the PitchCom, but they were also using signals. So I don't know what they were doing.
I don't know, but I know where you're headed, and they asked Scherzer about it after the game, and he's not a fan.
He said it should be illegal.
Yeah. He likes the stealing signs aspect.
He likes having to come up with complex signs. He likes the idea when someone's on second, they can try to figure out your signs, thinks it's part of the game.
Old school.
That being said, he said, I'll probably use it again.
He did, because it's one of those things where, once it's allowed in the rest of the league, he first said, I admit it works. I can understand where it's a benefit, but he liked the opportunity to have an advantage, not even from a sign stealing standpoint, from a pitcher standpoint, of using such a complex series of signs that they couldn't steal from you. So knowing, hey, other guys, they're picking up, they're up on what's going on. That ain't happening to me, so that gives me a further advantage as a pitcher. So I appreciated that answer. It's very honest, obviously, and I get it.
Did you see when he and Nito were talking in between one of the innings, and the guys on ESPN were like, oh, he's shouting at Nito. He wasn't. He's just an intense dude.
He's an animated, intense guy. Yeah.
I'm sure just talking about the signals. Like, he wasn't screaming at the guy and throwing things.
Well, everything for him looks like screaming, like you just said. And he came in after the 7th.
Yeah.
There you could hear this. I don't know if the screaming was from him or the high-fiving was loud, but his back was kind of to the camera. But you heard in the dugout some audible yelling. I don't know if that was somebody else, but he was obviously going right down the line and high-fiving guys with the glove, with the hand. He was pumped.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was such a great atmosphere, and I'm hoping for the same thing when they play the Braves. We should get that, right? Like a playoff-type atmosphere?
It'll be good. I don't know. Well, because
you don't think it'll be as intense as Yankees?
I think it depends on where the standings are at when that series. I know it's coming. It's not this weekend. It's next weekend, and it's a 5-gamer because they have the doubleheader on Saturday.
Oh, damn.
But yeah, I mean, Yankees Red Sox at its peak was very intense, but in the last few years, I feel like not as much. I mean, people get into it. The crowds are big, but not. I mean, because the Yankees and the Mets don't play as much, I think and because both teams are good this year, first place, tight in the standings, Mets with the Braves and Yankees with the Astros for best record in the AL, there was a lot on the line. So I think from that standpoint, that's why maybe it was a little bit more intense. Not to say that Mets Braves won't be exciting. I mean, I'm sure there'll be big crowds to be into it. I don't know if it'll be quite what we saw the last couple of days. Now, if they meet in September, late in September with the division on the line, absolutely. but they've still got a ways to go.
Yeah, I was hoping that watching these past 2 games, it was like you do wish Stanton was able to play and Cole
he usually
was able
kills
to
the Mets,
pitch.
too,
Yeah, it would have been just a little more interesting.
Maybe
to have
we
the
get
best.
that in the Bronx at the end of August.
And no pressure now on the
21st
Mets
and 22nd.
when they go to the Bronx. Even if they lose 2, they split the series for the season.
Yeah, there's no pressure from a Subway Series standpoint. But again, if the Met Brave situation doesn't really separate itself a whole lot, then that pressure, quote unquote, is always there. Right now, they've got a nice little cushion. All of a sudden, I think it's 4 on the loss side. But that just as that went from a 1 game on the loss side, I think within the last few days, I mean, it can change quickly.
I heard pressure is a privilege.
It is.
So I heard someone say
and the
around
Mets
here.
certainly seem to embrace that the last couple of days. And it starts with the manager.
Bring it on. I had 86 vibes last night watching this game.
Good. You got your 86 shirt on there?
I sure do. My 7. I got all my 7-line shirts out this.
How many
this
7-line Met shirts you own here?
The ones that I still own.
What do you mean still own?
Well, because 7-line been around a long time. I have had a lot of shirts over the years, but I currently
How long have they been around?
I think when we started at FAN, they started somewhere right around there. Yeah, but he didn't have the rights to the Mets stuff, so he would just put out.
So you've since retired some of the shirts, or they got
worn
holes,
out,
or threw them out,
or or I got fatter at a time and I got rid of them, and now I'm slimmed up again.
See what I do with those shirts that get a little ratty?
Yeah,
I keep them and I use them. I go to around the house or to bed. Are you guy wears a shirt to bed or no?
Yeah.
So that's a perfect.
Well, how many
thing.
of those shirts do you need? I like the minimalist approach where it's like it's time to. Like Marie Kondo says as well, you thank your shirt for providing you with comfort and protection, and then you let it go. It's okay to let it go. It's good to a decluttered home, CeeLo, is a decluttered mind.
Got it. Of course, as usual, my mind goes right to Seinfeld. What did he name the shirts? Jerry, I think it was an earlier episode.
Yes, it was.
I forget the name of the first one, but Golden Boy. And then Golden Boy, he had died essentially, and it's Golden Boy's his son, I think, or brother, Baby Blue.
Baby Blue.
He was naming his T-shirt.
Yeah, because sometimes you got to let them go, like children. Let's take a quick break here. Boomer and Jerry Recco will be here at 6:00. When we come back, we have some more on Mets Yankees. I've got a couple of Jets notes, and I have a couple of NFL notes.
I got a little tease for when we get to the first update segment. I'm not going to play it here, but Sal called into Keith McPherson's show, and they had quite the back and forth from a Met-Yankee standpoint. Yep. So we had a little Met-Yankee rivalry playing out on the fan airwaves in the wee hours of this morning.
Let me ask you this. Was it playful or was it?
I think it started playful, but there were definitely some jabs exchanged on both sides.
Ooh.
So I've not had a chance to listen to all of it yet, but I've heard a few of the clips, and it's interesting.
That's a nice radio tease.
Yeah.
All right. Back in just, I think this break is only 30 seconds long. So be back very shortly.